Hey, what's up everybody? So today I'm going to teach you how to make a water bottle holder. Primarily this is going to go on the front of my pack here. I want something that I can have accessible, easy to get water while I'm out hiking or climbing up the hills. I'm also going to make a couple more. I'm going to put them on the back of my bag for the other water bottles I have, but it can be a bit of a pain to try and reach around when I got a full pack and try and pull out a water bottle, especially half the time when you strap them to there so that they don't fall out or anything. So yeah, I want one that's accessible, easy, and then on the back of my pack here, I want to make a net that I more or less can put something like a wet jacket, a wet poncho, you know, if I'm out hiking in the rain or anything like that, that I can put it back there, it can air out, maybe some socks if you got your feet wet or something and you threw on another pair. Just something that more or less can hold more gear on the back there. Maybe it's a tent, maybe it's your sleeping pad rolled up. At the same time, you can make these, you know, for the top of your pack. You can also make them for the front here as well, so you can distribute some weight and put some things out on the front of you as well if there's some gear that you want to take that you necessarily can't fit in your pack. So this is just some things I want to do to improve my gear set, and I figured I'd record it just so you guys can have it and, you know, maybe make your own improvements. All right, let's get into it. What you're going to want is paracord. It's about 4 feet, 3.5 feet long. You're going to singe up the ends of these, and you're going to want 6 pieces. This is for the water bottle holder. So we got 2 already, we'll need 4 more. So what we're going to want to do next Jesus. So what we're going to want to do next is get a more or less circle that's about 1 inch by 1 inch crossed and wide. We're going to end up tying that, so we're just trying to look for a little bit of length off of this that we can tie up and get about the right proportion circle-wise. Maybe a little bit smaller than whatever water bottles you're thinking you're going to be putting in there. So that works. I think I'll take it to about that size, cut it right there. All right, so when you have this piece, we're going to go ahead and take our paracord and we're going to go ahead and tie it up with that loop. So keeping about 1 inch by inch. That's the goal. Try and get as tight as possible. Pull out any tension out as you can. Might have been worth it to make it just a little bit longer. And trim off any excess to get it to be about a nice 1 inch by 1 inch, but I think this is going to work fine for what I'm doing. We'll give that a go, but I think that'll work. All right. So next up, you're going to take one of your 6 pieces here. You're going to fold it in half. And then you're going to take your loop through that loop, through the tiny one that we just made, okay? Now once you have that, you're gonna pull it through a bit, and you're gonna go ahead and take your loop here, and you're gonna fold it under itself, okay? So now that it's folded under itself, you got these tiny 2 little end points here. Then you're gonna take one of your ends, you're gonna come around, you're gonna bring it underneath and up. Then you're gonna take the other one, you're gonna bring it around, you're gonna come underneath the loop and up through as well. Now once you have the both of these, you can grab an end or so. And now, holding your loop, you're just gonna slightly pull all of that in until it starts to tighten up on this, okay? Now, I'm not exactly sure what this knot is called. I either call it a little bundle knot, or I call it the inverted Mickey Mouse, just because of the 2 little ears that you make in the beginning. But essentially at this point, you're just gonna take any looseness that you can here, and you're just gonna pull it out. Just trying to tighten this up as much as possible on here. And then once that's nice and tight, go ahead and twist it on the loop so that it goes off to the side, and your first one is done. Now, you're gonna do the same thing with the next one. Okay. Now that we've got our ropes all nicely attached, go ahead and separate them out, make a little star. And so now you have a nice star coming out with your 6 cords. So from here, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take 2 of the cords that are correlating off of opposite knots, right? Once you have them, take them out about an inch or so to where you want your knot to be. This is, again, me basing it on the circumference of this. I'm thinking about an inch out from the center. Water bottle's gonna go in there. So my first knot I want to be is there. You're gonna take both knots, or both ropes, get them tight. So you got it about an inch out, you're holding it where you want your knot to be, you fold it in on itself, and then you're just slowly pulling it in to get it nice and tightened on that 1 inch spot right there. Now, move to your right. Do the same thing. looking good. Okay. So we went around and tied from the right that way. Now we're going to go back around to the left. So if I pull these out, there's a little bit of length extra on the ends of these because we went to the right. It was pulling on that string. So now if I take it and I go around the left way, our rope should be a little closer to even again. So I'm trying to eye these and keep them about similar as I'm making my way here. This one maybe got a teeny bit longer, so this one I'll try and do a teeny bit shorter. These can also be very great for just making bags. If you want to do like 8-foot ones instead of 4-foot ones, you can make a nice little bag that you can carry stuff in. All right, so we're getting towards the end two now. And kind of what I generally like to do at this point is either pull it up and kind of pretend like it's starting to be a basket, or straight up get your water bottle around it and figure out what's going to be the next best spot for it. So that's starting to bend around nicely there. I feel like we're on a good rotation overall, so I think I can probably do it about there. So we're at the perfect height now where if we wanted to finish this off, we could go ahead and tie these up, get ourselves a nice end spot for this, right? Maybe do a third one if you really wanted to. It's kind of what I did on this other one that I was working on, just kind of knotting them up. But as you can see, I had a little less length on these ones. So what I'm kind of curious about is if I can actually use a fire and kind of singe these together and melt them together to kind of get a loop at the top here. And my goal from that is that hopefully I can get a string with a little coggle in there that I can pull and have that nice and tight on there. So that's something I'm gonna try and make. I think I am gonna do one more little loop here though before I do that on this one. Just try and finalize it and have one last little spot here that holds, and then maybe try and do a loop up after that. So we'll go ahead and make a last attempt here at doing one more round of that, and then we'll get into singeing and seeing how that works out. You don't always have to do everything with paracord. I just have an abundance of paracord, so I like to do a lot of this stuff with paracord. But another nice thing about this, this pattern is this is a really great way to make a fishing net. So if you had some more standard line, you could absolutely make a fishing net using this process as well. All right, so I'm gonna use my other one that I made here. I'm gonna attempt to see, can I singe these together and make nice little loops? With doing that, I'm gonna need an open flame, so let's see if we can get this here candle working. So we'll take two ends, just move them in over the flame. This is nylon paracord, so essentially you're just melding together two plastics. Heat out of them yet. Get them a little closer there. Yeah, pulling really, really hard at that, I can feel it starting to separate a little bit, but that's still pretty awesome. Considering the knots are gonna come loose and everything, I'd say that's pretty great. Unless something really is tugging on it. I mean, if you're trying to lift up your backpack with the bottle, that might break those, but you can always singe them back together. But then you get that nice flushness there. Nice little carabiner clip on there. Clip that right onto your backpack. Let's go ahead and singe up the other one. So with these ones being a little bit longer, I'm gonna probably cut all of these at a kind of even spot, and then I'll singe each one of these and then go through the same process. So. All right, so I think I'm gonna make my net more or less be able to attach to these hooks here. So let's figure out the best way to get all of that taken care of. Thinking of making a little loop knot that they can go through. Let's start there. So those are the holding spots. Now, my goal is to create something a little bit longer so I can create a nice little flap as well at the bottom so it can kind of catch and hold stuff. Just trying to think of how much of a fold flap I want here. Probably something like that. So go ahead, tie that up. Okay, so similar to the water bottles, we're going to want to be folding these and having these go across here. So we're going to take an estimate here and go probably a teeny bit longer than it. All right, so overall I think I'm going to want about 3 of these in total. So, similar as I did before, I'm going to take my loop through. I'm going to under ear bunny it, or excuse me, under ear mouse it. Take this one down and through. Take the other one over and under. Tighten them up just like we did last time. Solid. one. All right, so now we got the 3 of those on there, pretty solid. All right, now we got the 3 of these all here. Even them out just a teeny bit. And then we will take 2 sides. Get a nice little triangle there. And wrap it around. Tighten it up. I'll do the same thing over here. Alrighty, and then for the outsides here, just give it a standard knot. I want to try and tie these up on here and then cinch them together, I think is what my brain's thinking here. Now that can more or less go up and under and be attached to another clip. Could go even back all the way up there to get a nice little bundle sack. I'll most likely just do it to this one. So as you see now, you got a nice little net thing here. What's really nice about these two is, again, using clips, you can attach tools to the back of this. You can put a wet jacket in here, anything you want to keep outside your bag. You could attach your newly created water bottles back here. all stuff that you maybe don't care about getting wet, that you want to be out on the outside of your bag, or just to give yourself extra capacity for carrying more stuff than you expected you were going to have. But the nice thing about this, again, is that you can take this all off if it's not something that you're necessarily needing. And now you literally have something that's an entire pouch that you can go ahead and stuff up into a tiny ball, which barely takes up any space that you can throw inside your bag. Again, you could turn around and use this on the front of the pack as well if you wanted to. So you can more or less get this thing all tied up nicely on the front of here. Get a nice little pouch in front of you too if you've got things that you're going to be more or less working with on the front of your bag and everything as you're going to be walking and maneuvering. You know, maybe you want your tools easily accessible hanging off the front of you. This is all a great way to improvise and improve your backpacking experience. So yeah, this was something that I definitely wanted to make a nice one of these for my pack. So figured I would take you guys along the journey, and you know, maybe somebody would take something away from this, and hopefully you could create one of your own. All right then, we've got ourselves a nice water bottle holder that we made. It's not exactly attached how I want it to be here, but that's the hope, is to have something that I can have directly in the front of my chest here, so when I'm hiking around, easy access to my water instead of having to try and reach back here. We also made the net here in the back for being able to carry more on our back. Right here I stuffed a big sleeping pad in there just to show as an example, but you know, having things on the outside of your pack like this that you don't care if they get wet, big tarp or something like that, is really beneficial. So we could make another one of these if we wanted to up here for our higher neck area, and we could also make one over our chest here as well, and that just gives us more space to have for our, you know, journey if we're going on a nice long journey and we need to take a lot more gear with us. I know that nobody ever wants to, you know, have their tools necessarily in a place where they could get wet or anything like that, but you could totally have flashlights hanging off. You could have any of your tools, your saw, your hatchet, any of that stuff accessible right here, right in front of you with just some paracord. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you learned something interesting. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider a subscribe. And as always, stay wild. Catch you guys next time.